Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Boom Rookies with Grub, presented by ESPN. My name is Matt Bugger. With me today, Josh Reynolds. Hello.
How are you, mate?
Mate, doing well. Cracking weekend. What'd you get up to?
I was in Mudgee.
Oh, yeah. Wine country.
Wine country. It was nowhere near as bad weather down in Mudgee.
Yeah, I don't think that's possible.
I was watching some of those games, and it actually felt like watching Blocker Roach back in the day, mud all over his face, patting referees on the head. But yeah, it's crazy to think this day and age where we're at. When we get a big downfall, you still get those type of fields.
Yeah. And I think the worst of it was probably up in women's Magic round as well.
Yeah.
They copped an absolute bucket load of rain up there on the same surface for 6 games.
The timing of it.
Yeah, brutal.
You know,
brutal timing.
Yeah, not great for the women's game, but even, obviously.
Even the Sunday game.
That was torrential. And we're going to speak about, some of the worst fields later on.
Yeah.
Just to give a little insight. But, mate, that looked really bad.
Yeah, it did. But I'm sure the Tigers won't complain as they've taken out the Josh Reynolds Cup. And I did promise you I'd get you a trophy.
And oh, yes.
There you go.
Look at that.
So Tigers, Josh Reynolds has defeated Bulldogs, Josh Reynolds. My wife cut those out this morning and stuck them on.
That's really good.
Shout out, Charlie. Great job.
Thank you. Thanks for that. I obviously am proud of playing for both clubs, but I feel I'm a Bulldog at heart.
Of course.
A bit closer to home.
For sure.
But wow, what a performance from the Tigers.
Mate, honestly. And so you've been in great teams and you've also been in rebuilding teams as well. And for a team like the Tigers where they are now, it's clear they're trending upwards. They've had the wooden spoon years. They're not going to get the wooden spoon this year. That's almost mathematically impossible at this point. It's not going to happen, let's be real. And so they're going the right way. They're almost certainly not going to get the finals either. But it is obviously an improvement on the last couple of seasons.
Yeah.
So, but when you look back on a year like this as a Tigers player, as a staff member, or as a fan, like this is the kind of win that means more to you than any other, correct?
Yeah, it sure does. And you could see that. You could see, and look, Cameron Serrato said it in his press conference that they were just up. They were playing the ball that one's, quarter of a second faster, but sometimes that's all it takes, especially in a game like the crazy thing is, and it's a little bit daunting, scary for me watching the Bulldogs play in the rain because we've lost 3 games in the wet. And I would think it would suit us because we
I think back to the Dean Pay years where they didn't win a whole lot of games, but every time it rained, you were fearing playing the Bulldogs because they were just so hard to face, so compete and complete, so aggressive, so disciplined.
And they just strangled.
And they still are all those things, but yeah, it just hasn't really.
Just the wet. Everything else is fine. But I'll tell you one thing: for the Tigers faithful and the coaching staff, when the Tigers are at their best, they're just in a very attacking mindset, aren't they? They play a free and open style of footy that it's hard to stop. But I will say, you need to defend your errors. And that's the first time in a very, very long time that I've seen a Tigers defense on their try line. It was like a brick wall. And the Bulldogs try line attack has been really good this year. I know it was wet. I know there was a lot of drop ball, but when you play an open style of footy like that, as a Tigers team, you need to be ready to defend.
Yeah,
and they did that. And then the one thing I'm going to say, and I don't know if a lot of Tigers fans are going to agree with me right now, but just listen, hear me out. Adam Doueihi needs to stay at your club.
Has to.
He needs to stay.
Been killing it to have a guy putting together these performances, best stretch of footy I think he's ever had.
Yep.
And doing it, playing center, playing middle forward, and playing in the halves. Like just guys like that don't grow on trees.
And a master stroke by Benji Marshall. Reason being, I reckon he felt that Fainu was he's going okay, right?
Yeah.
He comes in and out of games as young guys always do.
Correct. Sure.
It is so hard in the NRL to be a young half because you don't get to dip the toe in. You're expected to be great straight away. Everyone's expected to be like Katoa.
Yep.
And it's not going to happen. So master stroke from Benji, putting Adam Doueihi there in a big game. That meant a lot. And probably just pulling Fainu back, saying, mate, there's nothing wrong with you, but I just think Doueihi suits his game. And didn't he what? His kicking early in that game. Geez, his speed.
Showed a lot of pace for that try as well. Like,
where did that come from? I'm good mates with Doueihi, but you never had that pace when we were playing together. But it's not the worst thing. And all I'm going to say is, Fainu, don't get upset with that. You are still a great half. You're going to be a good half in the NRL.
A big part of the Tigers' future plans. Huge
Absolutely.
Part.
And they've said that. But at the same time, it's not the worst thing for your future and your growth and your development to see that Adam Doueihi showed me the way to play in the hubs. He showed a lot of halfbacks how to play that game. And I just think it's not bad. Like young guys, they want to play these days every week. And I get it. I was the same.
Yeah.
But it's not the worst thing sometimes to take a step back and see, what other guys are doing and to step into that. Put all your egos aside. Put it all aside. We all want to play, but it's all about growth. And I just think that was a great example of Benji, taking a little bit of pressure off his halves.
And yeah, we've seen plenty of guys do that in their career, like young halves come into first grade, but then either get dropped or come off the bench or just have a few weeks out of the spotlight. And a lot, like Sam Walker, probably the best example of that, came back and was better for it. So, I think Fainu is still a huge part. But yeah, Adam Dewey's playing career best footy. I mean, it's crazy. This is the same guy that, played a lot of fullback at South, and it was great in that prelim against the Raiders back in 2019 before all these injury issues really got to him. But yeah, looks fit and firing now. Looks fantastic, and I think over these last 6 to 8 weeks has probably been playing as good as he's ever played.
And Dewey wants the ball. I'll give every time I play. He's a confident guy. I think if you could ask Dewey what he wants to be, I think he actually would like to be a halfback.
Yep,
he really would. I just don't think he sees the ball enough in the centers. And then at fullback, sometimes he's good at the back shape, but he likes to inject himself a little bit more. He's not an open style of running player. He's not got an open play, like break you open too many times. But I think controlling a game with his kicking game, he's got a big kicking game. Showed that the other day. And then kicked smartly, kicked early. That's exactly what you do in the wet. So not the worst thing for the Tigers, but an interesting. I'll ask you. Okay, let's not ask me.
Yeah.
What did you think of the Dogs' performance?
I thought it was it was certainly it fell flat after what I thought against Manly was their best performance of the season by a long way. And so maybe those concerns people have about their ability to play in the wet are. But I think those people were vindicated to an extent because, as you know, that's the third time now they've played in conditions similar to that, and it hasn't gone great. I back Karen Serrata to figure that out. He's a very smart coach, a very capable coach, and that's a great team. And you're right, because it doesn't make sense to me that a team that's so good at yardage, that's so tough, that's so good at getting up and down the field would be bad in those conditions. Because whilst they do offload the ball a lot, I do think of Canterbury as being able to sort of adjust their style and be a little bit more disciplined. But I just didn't think they found the right balance at all on Sunday.
That's your spot on. Yeah, and it's I think Zero, he said he'll go back and just realize that every game you got to be up.
Yeah,
there was a lot to play for. Look, I'm not talking about it, but we know why there was a lot in that game. Because I'm sick of talking about the poor bloke because he doesn't deserve it, and we've moved on now. But it obviously meant a lot to the Tigers.
I think that was the end of it.
And that's
it. Was nice to see him and Luai sort of laughing it up and having a chat.
So who are we? So should I take some pressure off Lockie?
I think you are.
I'll keep the cup.
Yeah, I think so.
Because I'm retired.
Yeah.
I'll cop the brunt. I don't care.
You can shoulder it.
All right, Lockie, I'll keep it for you.
It's very magnanimous. All right. Let's move on to our attacking play of the week. Now, last week we had a great bit of structure by Penrith. This wasn't quite as structured as the Dolphins won the game on the siren.
Yeah, it was. You know what? But it epitomizes the Dolphins.
It does, doesn't it?
Don't you think? The style they play, every single player touching the ball.
Yeah.
And having to have great skill. And as we'll break it down, I'll show a few little, I suppose, moments that I feel made the play.
Yep, go on. Well, so we've got, first of all, before we get to the play, we talked about this on my other show with Campo yesterday. How do you feel about this style that teams have now of not putting in a kick at the end of sets when they're winning late in the game, instead they just die with the ball in the corner? How do you as an ex-half feel about that? That's really come into vogue. The Dogs actually used to do it a bit when you were there, but like,
Desi.
It really happens a lot now. You see it in every game, and especially against a team like the Finns who can score from anywhere. I didn't love that option.
Yeah, look, it's definitely happened since the 7 tackles come in.
Yeah,
because it makes you pay a lot more. Back in the day when, the whole reason they brought it in was because of the Billy Slater factor. I don't know if you remember, but before people were kicking it dead on purpose.
And Dragons under Wayne were like
taking him out of the game. So obviously you had to bring in the 7 tackles. But I'll be honest with you, I'm okay with it.
Okay.
When I played, because I understood that we're backing our defense in a corner, and we're telling teams good luck getting out. At the same time, if I've got someone of the likes of Adam Reynolds, I've got someone of the likes of Mitch Moses or Katoa who can thread the needle, I would take the gamble.
Yep, fair.
Josh Reynolds himself, I was really okay with. Boys were running it into the corner, but then I was fine with that.
Fair enough.
But I understand the mindset behind it. But I do see the other side of fair, because, mate, the Bulldogs fans used to blow up.
They did.
They were going off. They were like, what's wrong with our halves? And, we're not going to throw anyone under the bus, but I will now. It was theirs. we wanted to kick. But no, it was smart. If you've got a good defensive mindset and you back yourself to do it at times, I think there's a place in the game for it.
Yeah. All right. So take me through this play. They start off by playing the ball on the right-hand side of the field, about just in front of the 10-meter line.
So we've got to play the ball here near the try line. And as we spoke about, good halves are probably thinking of putting kicking, but Katoa, if you stop the play here, he passes it to Donahue here. And this is why the Dolphins are so good, because they play so square at the line, all of them. His pass to Nicarima is brilliant. This pass here, Jake Averillo catches it. If he goes at Dallin right there, he can probably give it to the winger and score in the corner. But it's okay. This ball from Jake Averillo, very dangerous, especially to a front rower. But this is the movement I want to speak about. Speaking about Katoa and his ball skills and everything, but his movement to move in the air when Kerr throws, bang. You just see it there. Kerr throws that offload and he moves in the air, and Nickel Klotstack still gets him. But it's that movement. 95% of the NRL get caught right there.
Yep.
And that stops the play. It's game over. But Katoa has the mind to move on the pass, we call it. And it was just amazing. And then Jeremy Marshall-King sums it up beautifully,
Great ball.
as he usually does. But Asako, too big, too strong off his right foot, and what a win for the Dolphins.
Yeah.
It's just plucked it out of nowhere, mate.
We'll talk more about the top four later, but we'll just talk about the Dolphins for now. And I think everyone kind of wants the Dolphins in the finals this year. They're probably the most exciting team for a neutral to see. And no one really dislikes the Dolphins either. It would be impossible to. Like, they only existed for a couple of years. And so, I think we all want them there. And it was brutal for the Warriors, who were so brave. They've lost so many troops this year, and they've been really hit with the injury bug. But yeah, I think that the way that this play broke out like this, you're right, it was classic Dolphins. And they are a team that more than any other team can create something out of thin air.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. And I'm glad that it looks like Nicarima is going to be staying there now. Like, I know that they were looking around at other players for a little while there, but the combination and the way he unlocks Katoa especially, I think is fantastic. And then you get Averillo, who was great in 5'8" when he played there. And I think the emergence of Kurt Donahue has really helped them as well. Who's another very dynamic ball running 13 all the time, who has really helped them to get a bit more speed and a bit more. And they've just got so much. And
the thing with Donahue is he plays so square like a half, and that just opens up space for his halves. You know, we look at the great middle ball players in Bradley and even Bailey Hayward now and Kurt Mann. They play so square, it opens up space for the halves. When the halves have space, look out.
Yeah.
And then that's when, I mentioned in that play, they all do it so well. I think they understand each other the most as a spine. Yep. I really think that, and that's why they've been such an attacking weapon.
I don't know if they can win the comp, but I would love to see them have a crack in a couple of big finals games this September.
Farnworth out.
Yeah, it's so brutal.
I think that's going to really hurt him.
Unless he comes back in like week 1 or week 2 of the finals. But that would be best case scenario as to what we know at the moment about that. Hamstrings are tough.
I just think sometimes, mate, with the Dolphins, they give him the ball and he just makes things happen. And I think they might miss that for these last 5 or so games, however many are left.
I think so too.
They might miss out.
Massive game this weekend. And our defensive player of the week, not quite as important in the context of the season or the finals picture as a whole, but you wanted to wrap young Ashton Ward for his cover tackle with about 10 minutes to go on Friday night in what was an otherwise unhappy evening for South Sydney.
Yeah, well, sorry to bring it up, mate.
That's all right.
I'm not rubbing it in, but because I love plays like this.
Yep.
I love young guys, young halves. I feel young halves want to come in and they all want to be Katoa. They all want to set the world on fire. And look, of course, we would all love to do that. But guys that I see in these plays, if you watch it here, he comes from the other side of the field. There's 10 minutes to go. There's nothing to play for.
Yep.
Absolutely nothing to play for.
You've already given up the 50 as well. So.
You're gone. Yeah. You've given it up. But he keeps going. He chases. And a last-ditch effort, you know, you're not going to – yes, he had an interview after the game. It was great. But Monday you go into training – you will walk in there like Conor McGregor, or walk out of there, I should say, because your teammates are giving you a rap. And when I'm not being, but things aren't going great at South at the moment. And you're thinking about what type of players I want in my
anything to be
culture.
And
I want that guy there. So Ashton Ward, mate, great start to your career. Base your game off that stuff, and the rest will come.
Yeah, not a happy night for South, but that was a nice moment. All right, let's move on to another team that hasn't been having that happy of a time this season, and that's North Queensland Cowboys, a team that I think personally, like with just looking at the players they have on paper, should be doing a lot better than they are.
Yep.
So what has gone wrong for the Cowboys to the point where now, like, we're looking at after they lost to Cronulla on Sunday, that's it. Like, they can't make the finals. There's been a lot of negative noise out there all season long about the coaching situation. Tom Payton came over there with such big raps. They were such a good team in 2022. And since then, like, they were okay last year. They had that decent, they got to week 2 of the finals, lost to the Sharks. But overall, you look at the team and you look at the cattle of blokes they've got up there and you think this is a team that should be looking for more.
I look at the Cowboys a little bit like the Tigers,
Mm.
but they haven't got the same attacking flair they had those couple of years ago.
Mm.
I don't know what it is. That I just don't look. And this is the thing, right? The Cowboys, I look at the Cowboys and I think they're happy to beat you 32-30 every week.
For sure.
They're okay with that.
Yep.
But in the NRL these days, you just can't do it. It's just not going to happen. It seems like, yeah, I watch every team and I'm like, yep, you know you're going to get that out of the Bulldogs. You know you're going to get that out of even the struggling sides like Para. You know, like their identity, their blueprint. But I just feel the Cowboys this year haven't got that. Like Dearden's always testing the line. He's always going to do that. Drinkwater is a constant problem. He doesn't get the 3-on-2s wrong too often. But I think they've struggled to their long-term 6. Like I thought Clifford wasn't going to play for the Cowboys ever again. Yeah. And now they've re-signed him.
Yeah.
So we've sort of had him and Dearden. They've been given a few chances, but it just hasn't worked. I also think the likes of I love Jeremiah Nanai. He's a freak. He was probably their third go-to guy a couple of years back, especially in the air.
Yeah,
like,
mate. Yeah.
Like he was unbelievable. Like you look at Cartile from Melbourne now and he nearly scores every week. He's a lock on first try on anytime try scorers. So I just think I don't know the style isn't suiting his play like it did those few years. And look, I played with Harrison Edwards from the Bulldogs. Great player. More suited to a ball playing lockdown. I don't think he's your out and out front rower. So I think they're a bit light up front. I think they need a big guy. I think. I watched who they played on the weekend, and he's on the outer. Brendan Hemden Uele. I would look to get someone big like that, mate. Someone to sort of lay the platform for these guys through the middle. And talking about through the middle, tell me what you think. Reed Marnie's going there. I would probably let Reed Marnie add another dimension to their attack, jump out a little bit more.
I completely agree.
Because Robson, I love him.
Great player.
He's our New South Wales hooker, and I love him for it, but he's a good defender and he's just solid. Whereas I think they need to add something else to their attack. What do you reckon?
Marnie's definitely an extra foil for what is a team that you're right has so many good attacking weapons, but just haven't been able to make it click this year for whatever reason. I think Marnie's got that extra dimension to his playmaking that not many number 9s have. Like you've got Damien Cook with the running game, you've got Appy with the all around stuff, and I think after those two over the last couple of years, I think Marnie's probably third behind them in terms of and Harry Grant, in terms of the craftiness and the ability to create things out of nothing. Because I think he can chip in with a long kick or two as well, which they don't have a great long kicking game either. So
he nailed a few on the weekend. Reedy's really got his targets now, and he knows when to do it. And I just think where they're at right now, and I'm not sure. What do you think? You reckon Payton will stay?
I don't know, because this is the thing, right? It's like you look at a team like Souths who are struggling, for example, and there are a multitude of reasons why any team is struggling, but the Souths have got a trillion injuries, right? Like they're the walking wounded. Drinkwater's played 20 games for the Cowboys this year. Griffin Dean's played every game. Jackson Purdue's played every game. Tom Dearden's played every game except for the Origin weeks. Harrison Edwards, who you mentioned, every game. Jeremiah Nanai and Robson, again, another two that have played pretty much every game bar the Origin. And Ruben Cotter only missed a couple of games. So all of their stars, apart from Tamalolo, who is coming towards the end of his career anyway, all of their other sort of big names have been there for the whole year. And that's what would be most concerning to me if I was a Cowboys fan, is like the Warriors have lost talent. Other teams have lost guys. Other teams have had games where they've been missing 5 or 6 blokes, and you can point to that's why they lost this game or that game. The Cowboys have been relatively healthy all season, and they've still only got 7 wins.
You know what? I feel Townsville used to be a very tough place to win. That's gone. That they don't play well there anymore, and that's, I think, something that they definitely want to get back. But it also wouldn't surprise me, mate, if next year they bounce back. Yeah. Because they're that type of team where you go, it just was something. This happens sometimes, mate, when you're playing. You know, it's happened to us at the Bulldogs. 2014, we make the grand final. We're going really well. We don't win it, unfortunately. But 15, we come out and there was games where we just go, what is wrong with us? What's different? Our team's similar, very, very similar. We've got the same structures in place. We've got the same people around the joint, but there's just something. So Cowboys might be going to, be a bit through that. But I think I think they need to sort out if Payton's going to stay and then go from there. Yep. That's the first things first. Let's from the top down, work it, into your club. And I think that's going to be a good start, but definitely still have firepower.
Yeah, for sure. So many talented players. Like the guys that most teams would be happy to play. But, it is kind of weird that they go sort of season in, season out. Like they were 15th, then they were 3rd, made the prelim. Probably could have won that and made the grand final. Then 11th, then back to 5th last year, semi-final, and then this year they're 11th again. So yeah, you're right. It does seem like sort of a 1 year one. So maybe they're back next year.
It's interesting, isn't it? Like how they sort of bounce back and forth. But I really do think, mate, they need a big front rower. They really do,
so too.
And I think they need to. I definitely don't like Cotter in the back row.
Yeah.
So, like, stop putting him in the back row, even though he's done a great job for Queensland.
Yeah.
He's either, I know he's not big, but your front row or your lock. Just keep him in between there because he's a goer and you need him working for you in the middle, clean up all that mess where, you do get the big boppers that might lead to a couple of half line breaks and whatever.
Yeah, man. And you think back to the Cow as well. It was Taumalala, it was Matt Scott, it was Ben Hannon, it was Scotty Bolton off the bench.
Yeah.
And a young Cohen Hess coming off the bench as well. Like so many great front runners up there.
Exactly.
So I think you're onto something. All right. What's up? This week's weekly question for you is, what's the worst place you've ever had to play in? And I thought it was going to be from your junior years, but you've since told me that it's not.
Well, yeah, no, it's absolutely not. And I think a lot of people will agree with me on this who have been over in the Super League, but it's not like that anymore. But Wakefield.
Okay.
Wow.
The Wildcats.
Yeah. It was more than wild.
Okay.
I heard stories.
Yep.
I heard that you can hardly get dressed because it's so small, the sheds.
Yeah, right.
The shed, like you're literally in like that, and like say me and you got your boots there. I have to put my half boot there and be like, hey mate, can I use your space a little bit? So from the get-go, you're under the pump, you're getting a massage. While you're getting a massage, you can see your mate doing a number one at the toilet, and you're like, I don't really want to be seeing that. So it was an interesting, and then you got onto the ground, and we played on a muddy, rainy night. I honestly couldn't run.
Yep.
And my hemis, they ain't good on good surfaces. So I just, it was after the experience being in the shed, freezing cold. You come out and because they were actually starting the construction of a new stand. So one stand was gone, hardly any fans there. It was very, very interesting. It was definitely by far the worst, but there was actually, and it's changed now also, Brookvale back in the day when it rained as well.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Wouldn't be fun.
No, because it's obviously a public ground.
Yep.
You can walk your dog on there.
That's true.
And I've seen some things on there that don't deserve to be on a footy field.
It's funny you mentioned that. It's like, it was great. Like they closed the hill at Wynn Stadium on Saturday night.
Was it closed?
I think that's why one of my mates went down there, and that's why there was literally 0 people on there. Because I thought usually you get 1 or 2 lunatics just out there anyway, but it was completely empty. It turns out they just were like, no hill.
Yeah, because that looked so weird. I was like, wow,
COVID again.
Not one person
like
is there.
Game.
I don't talk about that.
No, sorry.
That really, running out to no one.
Oh,
and
mate,
hearing each other talk. It was very, very.
It was very funny though, watching like professional sports in that time that where you could hear players yelling at each other. That was great.
You know who you could have also heard?
Yep.
Speaking about the Raiders, Ricky Stewart, absolutely spraying me from the sideline.
Fantastic.
Spraying me.
What had you done?
Look, I'll be honest with you. He was into me about taking a dive, and one thing I didn't really, I used to go in and I'd get whacked because people wanted to belt me. And fair enough, as I was, whatever. But he was into me He was into me like get up, you grub, and you can hear him clear as day because there's no one in the stands. And but that's Ricky Stewart. He likes to get down there and get amongst it, doesn't he?
Yeah,
he's in amongst all the players.
Love
and
that.
Good on him. I love it. I love him for it.
We got a question from Phil from Wollongong for first of our listener questions, but it was about what's the differences in quality of facilities between the NRL and the Super League. So I feel like you've just answered that. So instead, we'll go with another, or I'll replace it with what we discussed just before we started recording. That's from Paul from the Gold Coast, who asked about our thoughts on the conference system. And it's not something either of us are giant fans of. And nor do I ever think it will happen, by the way.
No, it just it doesn't work. I seen on your Instagram, and it actually has some great points.
Thank you.
What happens to the Newcastle Knights?
Mate,
and all that?
They are the big losers in.
Do they just go like?
Yeah, it's the same with the draft, where people watch American sport and they go, "Oh, that thing's great over there," and they don't think about the fact like a draft would be a disaster because why would Penrith put all that money into their juniors if suddenly they didn't get to keep any of the
exactly
juniors?
Right.
They just stop. It would stop, and people don't think about that. And the thing with the conference is, I love the idea in theory, but it doesn't work because in America, as I said it's like you've got each city has a team.
Yep.
And with the exception of LA and New York, we've got 2 teams each. Like it's this one team towns where the millions of people that live in those towns get around the team and all that stuff. Sydney's got 9 teams or 8 teams, whatever it is.
Yeah.
It depends if you want to include the Dragons or the Knights in that. But it's not like, and it's not like it's remotely fair if Souths get 3 or 4 extra trips a year to play the Dogs or the Roosters or whoever, and the Knights are flying to Melbourne or to who else was in their conference? Canberra. It's just like, come on. And the other thing people don't realize is they don't think about the geography of the stuff, which is that the Brisbane and Townsville is like further away. Is it further away than Brisbane and Sydney, or it's pretty close? Like it's similar distance.
It's similar. Yeah.
And it's just like, look, it sounds nice in theory, and no shock that all the bosses from the Sydney clubs were in favour of it.
No, of course they were.
Yeah, but not for me, not for you.
And also, what you got the comparison, the colleges are self-run.
Correct.
They're multi-million.
They are
billion-dollar.
All the biggest stadiums in America are actually college stadiums.
So of course they don't mind because they get paid.
Correct.
And then they go off to the draft wherever they're going to go. Yeah. Whereas you're right. Why would Bulldogs put so much money into Mitch Woods, hypothetically young guy coming through, and then all of a sudden go, hey, let's have a draft.
Number 1 pick. You're going to the Titans, Mitch.
But the Bulldogs put so much into it.
Yeah, exactly. It doesn't make sense. People don't think about that. But anyway, like I'm glad we're on the same page with that one. But,
I'll just quickly say one story back to the other one.
Yeah.
So being at Hull.
Oh yeah.
Talking about fields.
Yeah.
I used to back myself in fitness.
Okay.
I used to be. I used to think I was like I used to go okay.
Yeah.
And going over there though on ice.
Yeah.
Like studs on ice sounds like you're on gravel.
Yeah.
You know when you're young, you used to play and you're on gravel.
Yeah.
That's how some days you wake up and the fields are like that.
You see
that's a whole other world.
Frozen pitches sometimes, and as an Australian, you see that and you go like, you'd watch soccer and they'd be like, "Oh, the game's been called off for a frozen pitch." You go, "Frozen pitch."
But I backed Arsenal.
Yeah, exactly. I played in a hailstorm once. That wasn't fun. Ended up going on and off 3 times.
A few HIAs.
Yeah, mate, it wasn't fun. We barely see the ball, but that's all right. It is what it is. All right, we've got Josh from Leichhardt, who also hosts the West Tigers podcast, West Tigers Life. He says, "What was Benji Marshall like as a teammate? P.S. Loved having you as a Tiger." Orange heart emoji.
Sorry.
Orange heart emoji.
That's the first ever time the Tigers fans ever said that.
I know.
Was it Josh?
Yeah.
He must be
Josh
the namesake.
Have to stick together.
Oh wow, where do I start with Benji? Look, it was a tough for me because I'll be honest. Like at the same time, we're going for the same position.
Yep.
And everything changed because like when I did sign with the Tigers with Ivan was at the Tigers. A lot of people forget that. People forget. I signed with Ivan Cleary. Would have been nice if he took me over to Penrith or something, but anyway.
Nice.
But no, yeah. So obviously I signed as, I thought I was going to be the 6 and Ivan said that, but then, he made it was a call to let me know that they're also going to sign Benji, but it was more as a utility role. But, things happened in that preseason and then, I didn't even play round 1, done my Hemi and captain's run, which is not great at a new club. Yeah. Brutal. But then obviously Madge comes in and, Madge didn't bring me over. So Madge had a totally different mindset on things. And yeah, going toe to toe with Benji Marshall, when he actually started finding a little bit of prime, Benji was tough. Like, he's the silky guy. I feel the difference between, a guy like myself and Benji, he can look great all the time at training, over the top, this and that. But I suppose the little areas that I'd like to pride my game on, you can't always do them at training.
Yeah.
They sort of just happen in the game. And but look, I will say, I learned so much from him as a ball player.
Yeah.
Wow. Like I was a running based player. I thought run first all the time, but Benji he sort of taught me like who you're getting to and why. And I like that. I never really thought of it like that. I just thought, well, I'm going to beat this guy because I feel I'm faster than him. I'll get to the outside of him. So he taught me that. So I just tried to soak up. I'm not going to lie. I tried to soak up as much as possible. Why not? Because when I got the opportunity, I could use it. Very confident guy. Knows exactly what he's doing and probably demands high standards from everyone around him and being on the same page, but at the same time, a bit of a larrikin and could have a laugh. Good to have around the group, but decided to find 05 Benji vintage at the wrong time for Josh Reynolds. But no, he's a great guy, and he was. He was. I actually didn't expect him to be he's a pretty funny guy.
Okay.
Crap jokes sometimes, but funny.
That's all right. He's fine. All right. And Cam from Ipswich wants to know who's the most intimidating defender you ever had to run at, and were there any players, coaches, or teams that you didn't enjoy playing against for any reason?
I'm gonna say an edge.
Okay.
Can I say an edge?
Of course.
not an individual player. So Manly's left edge.
Yep.
Let me talk to the edge. Foreign.
Yep.
Tony Williams.
Yep.
Stevie Maddai.
Yep.
George Tafua.
Jeez.
And like, I don't know why, but it was always a running battle with us. And like, look, there was nothing in it, but it was just, I just used to get battered.
Yep.
Like Maddai, Maddai made many.
The one on Dave Tyrrell.
I was just about to say, you would know that one.
Greatest
so
hit
he used
maybe
to,
ever.
It wasn't unusual for him, but I just felt in those games he was jamming from anywhere.
Yep.
So I always had to be on high alert because I didn't want to be on
no.
I didn't want to be on
the YouTube
no
compilation.
way. And I didn't get on one. But yeah, do you know what I think created these battles half was Christian Inu, right?
Yep.
Love playing with Inu, very skillful guy.
Yeah, for sure.
But it took him a guy like Stevie Maddai to rev up. So if Christian Inu played a guy like who was nice, he would be nice and shake his hand. It's just the type of person he was. But when he went up against the likes of Maddai, he was on. So I was like, I love this. Yeah. Let's go. And it suited my game, but at the same time, when T-Rex was in his prime, having those bumper bars, then I'd have to deal with carry one, Maddai coming out of dummy half, carry two, George Tafua off the back fence. And then if you want to throw a snap back to the short side, Tony Williams straight over the top. So brutal night.
Some big boys.
Yeah. So I'm going to say a whole edge.
Yeah. And is there any other players, coaches, teams you didn't enjoy playing against besides that Manly side?
Well, look, I'll say I didn't like playing against the Melbourne Storm because they always found ways to pick you apart. So let's just say whether that was Craig Bellamy or that was Cameron Smith, Cooper Cronk, just to name a few.
Yep.
No, that I wouldn't like. I don't say I would like it. I love the challenge, but you always knew that you were going to get tested, not just physically, but mentally, like making sure you're on all the time. Because we're going to ask you another question, and because you've done that, I'm doing that. So that was a tough battle. Always had a tough battle with Wade Graham.
Okay.
I found him a handful because he can run over you with the bumper bars, but he can also got a nice passing game, but then a nice kicking game. So when a back rower's coming at you like that, you're like, well, with Tony Williams, he's coming over the top of you.
Correct.
But with Wade, he was a handful, and he didn't mind a battle. So it was good, but tough.
For sure. And Michael from Lugano says, we often hear about club culture. Can you talk about the Bulldogs culture and how they brought you through the lower grades to become a first grader?
If you didn't like hard training, not the place for you. I think it reflects the area it's in. So I grew up in Belmore, right?
Yep.
It is a hard working, tough area. Not many people get it on a silver platter in Belmore, and I think that's why it suits the club. And I suppose the way to earn your stripes back in the day when you got the likes of Willie Mason, O'Mealy, and even a guy named Gaz Carden, who was the guy that I felt really toughened me up.
Yep.
Like I come in as a 70 kilo, 15, 16-year-old guy, and he was brutal, but always wanted to prove him wrong. But it's not proving him wrong. He knew what he was doing. So he always got the best out of me. But then it's a bit different now, the era. Like you don't have to do that anymore. It's more when you're young, we accept you. We're going to train hard, but it's not that you're not allowed in this shed. Not yet.
Okay.
Things like that, But it's a club that's built on being close to the fan base. If you don't embrace the fan base and know what they're about, probably don't be there. It's a club that demands knowing who's worn the jersey before you. I know me personally when I speak to a few of the young guys, and I know the club. Yep, you got to know who Terry Lamb is. You got to know who Mortimer is and what they done for this club. So, I just think the thing I say is I can see guys that won't fit at the Bulldogs. I can just tell. I can just and look, Cameron Serrato had to weed a few out because that was the thing. It was the whole, are we training a bit too hard? And you knew that from the start. All these Bulldogs players tell you this stuff, and even just things like they always used to be like, what do we call it? Lovers tiffs on the field.
Yep.
Because we demand
but that's good, right?
You demand the best out of each other.
Yeah.
There was multiple times where me and Mickey Ennis were just at each other because he pushed me, I pushed him.
Who's the public going for in that boxing?
Oh, probably no one. The draw, both knock each other out. Who would you go for?
I'm going for you. What are you talking? You're my co-host. What are you talking about?
Yeah, get that in here, Mick.
Yeah.
But no, mate, it's a place that gave me so much, but it is a culture. I will say that culture's thrown around a lot now.
Yeah.
Everyone's watched the culture, but it's something that, I take passion in and still being a part of that now in a different vicinity is still great.
Yeah. All right. Our grub of the week. This was a masterclass in 30 seconds of rugby league from Alex Safer.
Did you feel sorry for him?
I did a little bit. And I especially felt sorry for him when Stephen Crichton didn't get Simbin like 3 minutes later for also hitting someone in the head. But
no, I felt sorry for him because I know Seyfarth and I love him.
Yeah.
I got close to him.
You got to have a couple of passionate guys like that. You've got to have a couple of dudes like that.
And a fiery redhead.
Yeah.
Everyone needs one.
Yeah.
Everyone needs a redhead that's just going to go like that. And he's your guy. I love his face. Like, he's like, what did I do? Alex.
It was great.
You alligator rolled 9 times on his arm. And I will say, though, I don't think they seen, well, they did after.
Yeah.
Because what did they get him for the hold and the roll or something
Whatever
like that? Anyway, but Max King gives him the first clip in the head. So he was a bit hardly done by them. But then penalty with the ball.
Yeah.
Cardinal sin. Go down.
At Max King's face.
By the way, that's so embarrassing. Like, if you're Max King, it's like, you don't want that because
he didn't flinch at least though.
No, he did.
Did he?
I reckon he flinched.
Oh, okay, all right.
Let's watch it back.
Out.
Yeah,
he caught it fair in the face.
But it's scary. It's so close. Like,
maybe
I should. Do you want to try it?
Definitely not.
But I think, and then he goes down, and I just love him. He gets so, and this is why I love him also. But some coaches at times wouldn't. He's so in the game.
Yeah,
he thinks he has to make up for that, and I did too.
Yep.
He goes in. Big safe. But then look, in the end, he got away with it.
He did.
And he was very happy about that.
Well, he's I think he's facing 3 or 4 weeks on the sideline, so he didn't exactly.
Well, they won the game.
Didn't exactly get away with it.
Yeah,
I take your point.
I would say got away with the win.
Yeah, for sure. And as you said, like you got to have a couple of fiery dudes in there, and if they're redheaded, all the better.
I just love his face. If we can have his face, like he's like this to the ref, like,
hey,
and you're like, no, you know what you've done. Us all fellow grubs, we know what we've done.
Fantastic stuff. All right, one thing we are looking forward to this weekend. Am I looking forward to this, Josh? I'm hoping that Souths can avoid the spoon in what we're calling the spoon bowl. How did it get this bad?
It's an early spoon bowl.
I mean, mate, I'm calling it. I will say if Souths lose, they could still avoid the spoon because they'll only be on the same number of wins as the Titans. But if they win, they probably avoid the spoon because they'll be 2 wins ahead of the Titans.
Oh, so this is big.
It's big. Doing City to surf in the morning and then 2 p.m. kickoff. Could be a good day. Could be really bad.
Good way to take your mind off it.
It is. It really is.
Who you would have lost someone on the weekend?
Ryan Gray. Yeah.
Can you play hooker?
Mate, I'm there. So I got a few messages after the 18th man dropped out on Friday night. But mate, get up there. They need you. I was like, the boys needed me. I'd be up there in a heartbeat. It'd be bad for them, but I would have had a go.
Hey, you have a crack. Yeah. Throw that jersey on with pride.
Exactly.
Who was the 18th man?
It was Mamazels and Humphreys both got ruled out pre-game with concussion symptoms for both. Was it both concussion?
Well, at least they'll play this week.
You'd think they're, but we're recording this an hour and a half before teamless, so we'll see. But you think we'll get a couple. I think the Cavalry are coming for South a little bit. They are expecting Brandon Smith, Latrell, Keon, and Cam back in the next couple of weeks. Would love for this game just because it means so much more. But this is not where South wanted to be at the start of the season. But if you can, if you can win this game, though, I think it'll be okay. You probably don't get the spoon then.
I know everyone always says no excuses. Mm-hmm. I'm letting South have excuses this year.
Appreciate that.
I really am because that is like a bad injury toll, like really, really bad. And 5 key players you just mentioned, Cam Murray, throw another one in, unbelievable. Yeah. So for you, I hope you win.
Thank you.
I really do. That. But for Des, I hope he wins.
Who did more for your career, me or Des Hazard?
Well, we've only had 2 episodes.
That's true.
We'll
we got time.
If we stay here for ESPN or 20 years,
20 years.
I'll take that.
All right. All right. And what are you looking forward to this weekend?
I'm looking for the bounce back from 3 out of the top 4 sides. Yeah. They all lost.
Well, at least one of them's going to win this weekend.
Yes, either Bulldogs or the Warriors. Don't say that. And obviously the Canberra Raiders. I think good top 4 teams usually bounce back. They don't lose 2 in a row. But look, special mention to the Broncos. This is a big week for them. This is just a little side what I'm looking forward to because last week I seen something clipped up, and of course it was Josh Reynolds thinks the Broncos are pretenders at the moment. I'm going to say Broncos fans, Broncos players, prove me wrong this week. Big game. Amy Park, an understrength Melbourne side. Big opportunity to top 4 hopes.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think if like the Broncos wanted it last week, they could have got 80 in that game. They were cooking. They were cooking with gas. And
They were
fantastic. I do maintain that if they at their best, the best version of the Broncos might be the best version of any team, but it's a matter of them getting there.
Yes.
Yeah, let's see if they can get it done this weekend. So right now, top 4. Raiders are locked into top 4, definitely. I say Storm almost certainly, but who have you got rounding out the top 4?
Well, I would say Dogs.
I would too.
I don't know 3 or 4, just depending on how they've got a tough run home. The Dogs, they've probably got the toughest.
But I think it doesn't have a tough run home.
It's actually true. A lot of them play each other, the top teams.
Except for the Cronulla Sharks.
I think Penrith sneak in.
Penrith over Cronulla.
I do, man.
I just can't see Cronulla. I look at Cronulla's draw. They've got Dragons at Cogra this weekend, which will be tough. Dragons are a tough team, even though they have not been going.
Yeah,
they're not been getting the wins, but they've been a tough out for teams every single week,
especially in the rain. If it rains again. Yep.
But then I just look at the Sharks draw and they play. I think it's 2 Queensland teams at Shark Park and the Knights. And before that, it's a Queensland team and the Knights at Shark Park, and then that Dogs game last round of the season.
Wow, no one's hurt. No one's talking about Sharkies.
No, which is how they like it. I think they're doing better this year because they talk about
fair call.
That a lot of their players have actually spoken about that this year, where it's like because they've had all the stuff with Nico and Origin and all that stuff in 23 and 24, and just no one's talking about them this year. No one's talking about
the sleeping giant. That Dogs game, the last round could be a big game,
unless the Dogs are locked into like second or third, in which case like that helps the Sharks as well. If the Dogs rest some dudes, we'll see what happens. But yeah, only what 6 rounds, 5, 3, 2, 4, 2, yeah, only 5 rounds to go.
That's unbelievable.
It's crazy how quickly this year's gone. But yeah, I think gun to my head, I'm going Sharks 4th, but you're going Penrith. You don't think they'll lose again?
Oh, no.
All right. You were down at Mudgee doing recon for their game against Canberra in 3 weeks. So that's why you were there. You checked out the field.
Yeah, me and Ive.
Yeah, good. Yeah. So that I'm really that's a couple of weeks over. Yeah, that Raiders game in Mudgee is going to be massiff because that's a big test for Canberra as well.
Huge,
so very huge
game
for that. But yeah, footy. How good is it? What do you think of the trainer thing, real quick?
He definitely knew what he was doing.
Okay. Yeah.
The Penrith trainers don't have the best track record, do they? And I don't think it. But I will say it is hard because I've been on
did it first time.
Yeah, 19's Origin this year, on the sideline, cans on. Josh Jackson squealing into my ear. Not really, never squealed. But it's hard to send the messages on, and I think they got something wrong with the interchange. So he might have been thinking of 1,000 things and just literally forgot. But I don't believe in that much stuff. With the actual penalty, big fine. $50,000.
A lot of money.
Really, man?
Club will pay it.
Yeah, of course they'll pay it. But
club's got deep pockets.
Only way to fix this, something's got to happen on the field.
Yeah.
To make there will be no trainer that does it ever again.
If they sim bin a player.
Simbit a player or give them another kick or give them 2 kicks to win the game.
Yeah.
Gold Coast win that game on 2 kicks.
Oh,
well, like, why not?
Yeah.
Because that's a penalty
it's true.
in the game, but there's consequences.
It's like when there's an 8-point try, there's 2 kicks
in the game.
Yeah.
So that's the only way to actually fix it because who's not saying in a big game?
It's true.
I know you're only going to get 50K fine.
That's a great point. It's the same in any sport, right? It's like if the penalty is only a fine, teams will do it in games.
Yep.
Because money is money, and money is important. But like any team in world sport will happily pay a fine if it gives them even a tiny, tiny skerrick of competitive advantage.
Are you going to win a championship on the back of that? Maybe. But teams will.
Imagine if that happened in the grand final.
Let's not go there.
Yeah, I can't remember any trainer controversy in a grand final recently. Can you? All right. Let's get out of here. All right, we'll be back next week. I'll be back on Friday with the regular Boom Rookies show. Say goodbye, Josh.
Sorry, just before you say goodbye, do you want a spoon for next week? Because you brought me the cup. I don't know.
So I've done.
You let me know.
I've done something nice for you, and you've like to repay me with a wooden spoon.
I'm not repaying you. I just don't know. All right, we'll brush it.
Sorry. No, I mean, look, no. If Souths get it, look, fine. Yeah.
No, I don't want it.
No, but I want it. No, I want.
We're only 2 games in. We need a form relationship.
I think that as I said, I think if they win, they'll avoid it. So if you want to bring in a big trophy that says 16th on it next week, I'll take it. But yeah, if they lose, I think there's still a way they don't get the spoon because like they play Para, they play the Dragons. No, like they could somehow win one of those games because they are getting all those trips back is the only thing. But look, at some point. You can bring in a wooden spoon for me. I just think next week is a bit premature. But yeah, I'm bricking that game. If they lose it, I'll be in a dark place. All right, let's get out of here. Say goodbye, Josh.
See you guys.
That's goodbye from me.